Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the I Hate Marketing podcast. I'm super stoked because this is going to be the first episode that I actually have a guest. So, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thanks, Lexi. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Tara Moncravie. I am the owner of the Moncravie Project, and I help coaches and online service providers with lead gen and engagement and client experience strategies just to help optimize the client journey to ultimately maximize profitability and sustainability and growth within their businesses. So
I love that. And honestly, I like that you mentioned the maximize profitability because I feel like people don't think about lead gen and the client experience as like a monetary ROI type thing. And so I'm really glad you mentioned that. So we can dive deeper into that. But I actually just want to start broad here and kind of just talk about why lead generation is important for business owners and why they need to be putting more like effort into their lead generation strategies?
yeah, great question. So lead generation is so incredibly important when it comes to building a sustainable business because you need to consistently be bringing in new people into your audience and kind of turning them into community members versus just people in your audience to have warmer leads to generate more business for you within your programs and maximize enrollments and all those things. And so just because you feel like you have a warm audience and leads that are continuing to buy your offers doesn't mean that that is going to continuously happen for you. So like there are new people coming into this industry every single day, and there's so much opportunity to build relationships and connections with people. And so it's just long-term growth and lead generation go hand in hand.
Love that. Love that. I definitely think that lead generation is something people think that they're doing, and I'm guilty of this too. I know that I probably still do this, where they think we're doing lead gen, but we're really not. So I guess my next question is, what does good lead generation actually look like versus what do people think, good lead generation looks like?
Yeah. So good lead generation to me, I have just always been a people person. I love building relationships. I'm that person that kind of holds the glue together, like in my personal life, and always getting people, to come over to my parents' house and have drinks and dinner and whatever, like when I'm in town and whatnot. And so building relationships and making those genuine connections has always been something that's more so natural for me. And so when I think about good lead generation, it's more about how much like impact you're making and the connections that you're building versus the quantity. So more so quality over quantity. And it's not about the copy and pasted DM and how many DMs that you can get that day. Like sometimes within my own lead generation, I only reach out to 5 or 6 people versus 10 to 15 because I am trying to really identify the people that I want to bring into my audience that I feel I'm going to make a quality connection with. And so kind of taking a step back and letting go of the quality piece of lead generation, I think is like the biggest mistake that I see with this industry and the way that lead generation is approached.
I agree with you. And I feel like that was my problem was I was focusing too much on, okay, I need to have 50 leads on my lead sheet or I need to whatever. And then it's kind of funny because I realized maybe you disagree or agree, whatever, but I feel like lead generation is just really like relationship building. I'm going to use our industry specifically, the online service provider, because I know for product-based businesses, it's a little bit different, I'm assuming. And so that was when I noticed I stopped looking at everyone like a lead and a dollar sign and I started just making friends with people like I never thought, like, for example, you're signing up for my workshop, right? And eventually I'd like to sign up for your services. Like I never thought that would even happen when we first started talking, but it's because we became friends. And
Right.
so I'm kind of excited to see that shift, hopefully, you know, multiply in this industry where people start, viewing it that way.
Yeah. And you bring up a good point and something that I think about all the time, and I have not been able to pinpoint it, but I don't love the word lead. And because it has this negative connotation, and like, especially when you think of like, more so corporate businesses and the way that they do lead generation, it's more so email marketing. And through Instagram, it's a little bit different because you're, making connections with people more so face to face, but obviously virtually, than you would be in an email marketing type outreach, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have been trying to figure out how to rephrase the word lead
Mm.
into something that is more so personalized, because I totally agree with you. Like for me, it's about being human and like building relationships and making friendships and all of those things. And it's like, I don't, in my mind, I don't look at lead generation as like the numbers game, right? And it's more so humanizing it. But how do we humanize the word lead? That's like been on my mind a lot.
I feel like honestly, like, and this isn't the word to use, but I feel like it's almost just networking. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's really it, is just building a network of people and having like a directory essentially of
Yeah.
people. Like literally, like I went through today and I was so excited because like you are my go-to like lead gen person in my head, like engagement. Like I think of you. And then I have my friend Bree who does sales psychology. I think of her automatically. Like my coach Jen, I think of her for business coaching. So it's like, I feel like we build this directory in our heads of people. And if you nurture those relationships, you continuously buy from them, which is
Right.
more profitable than me spending all this time, DMing 50 people that will probably never want to talk to me because it's like, hey, how's your business doing?
Yeah. Or join my masterclass
Yeah,
or
exactly.
3-day thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
a turn.
know. It really is. So I guess this is a good segue. We can circle back to lead gen, but I'd like this talking point because we can move into our thoughts on not only the coaching space, but the online service provider space right now. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, I know literally just this morning we talked about we're feeling this big shift, but I want you to elaborate and tell the listeners what you think is going on.
Yeah. And for the listeners who don't know me, I just started my business back in February. So I did not get the experience through the thick of the pandemic when this online
Lucky.
industry was really like booming, and it still is. And like I said earlier, there are so many new faces that I see on a daily basis that are coming into this industry wanting to build businesses. And I think that my thoughts on this industry is that there's a lot of misconceptions as to what it really takes to build a business, and a successful and sustainable business at that. And there are a lot of, just in my opinion, uh, like, not negative marketing tactics, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's easy to build a business. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy for you
Misleading.
to make $5,000 a month, to make $10,000 a month. There's a lot of pressure on online service providers and coaches and people in this industry to hit a certain threshold by a certain time frame.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable, and it puts you in a place where you start to get that imposter syndrome, and you're like, should I be in a different place where so and so is? But then you have to realize, like, you're on your own journey. We're all on our own journey, and we have, different experiences and qualifications that make us unique in our own way. And I think that that is one thing that I do appreciate about this industry, is that you are able to build your business around who you are authentically, and like make it your own.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it's funny. I'm going to quickly talk about the coaching industry boom thing, right? During
Yeah.
COVID and all
Yeah.
that. So for everyone that's listening, you guys probably already know that I started in January of 2020 as a coach, but I've been a business owner since 2018. And last year was insane. Like I'm not into astronomy, not astrology, but like actual space
Hmm.
stuff. You know, the types of stars that get really hot and they burn all their energy really fast and then they die out. Like I personally feel like that's what's happening right now. And
Hmm.
everyone's like, oh, things will pick back up in the fall. And I'm like, I'm not really getting that vibe because it's like everyone's gonna want to be visiting family since a lot of people couldn't last year. They're gonna want to be spending their money on holiday travel and gifts, and I don't really think people are gonna be spending a lot of their money on us. Like I would say non-essential, which I think we're essential, but to some
Yeah.
people, you know. And so I'm not worried in the sense that I have like a scarcity mindset about it, but I'm just like I'm kind of, like holding my breath a little bit to see, how this industry shifts.
Yeah. And I remember you talking about that the other day, and it got me thinking because I think you're right. Like you and I talked
Mhm,
about the summer sales drop and all of that a couple weeks ago in the DMs.
mhm.
And my first thought was, yeah, this is really only going to last over the summer. Like people are just really getting out of the, I guess, just like the stay at home mentality that
Yeah.
we had over the pandemic, right? And just like wanting to live their life again. And I
Mhm.
always think of that Kourtney Kardashian reel. It's like, I just want to live my life.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
I
so
feel like that's what
true.
we're doing. That's what we're
It
doing
is.
right now as humans. And everyone's wanting that interaction, that human interaction again. And
Mhm.
we're like able to do that now, especially in America. I know it's different across the world, but
Yeah.
um, I think that you have a point in regards to the holidays coming up and a lot of people not being able to spend that quality time with their
Mhm.
families. And some people haven't seen their families for over a year and a half. And
Yep.
I mean, for example, my boyfriend's parents, they live in Australia. So he
Oh,
hasn't
wow.
seen them since 2019, December 2019. So, like for us, we're like, okay, when can we go to
And
Australia?
that's expensive.
Exactly. It's not only just expensive, but I mean the travel. I've never traveled for 24 hours
Oh
straight.
God.
But also there's so many restrictions right now. So it's just like, you know, being able to just enjoy that time with people that you love is kind of the trend right now.
It
I don't say
is.
trend, but
No, it's true. And you know what? I had a hard-boiled egg, so I feel like I have all this energy right now. All of a sudden, I'm like loving this conversation. And I have like a solution now. Like I just came up with
yeah,
my solution. I think it's gonna be we're all going to need to get really crafty. We're all going to need to switch what we thought we could offer, like throw away what we knew even 2 months ago or even in
totally.
June. I don't know about everyone, but June was a collective clusterfuck for not only myself, but
Yeah.
for like everyone else that I've been talking to. So I think so. I'm going to use you as an example, right? So, like for you, you might need to expand your services not just to coaches, but to business owners, right?
Yeah.
Like you might want to hop on a freelancing website or LinkedIn and say, let me analyze your lead generation strategy or how you're engaging with people and start offering like consulting instead of retainer. And then for someone like me, like I might actually need to get my ass out in Austin and, meet people and do stuff in person. And so I think honestly, I think I just realized what the shift is. It's that
Yeah.
we are just assuming that we can use the same shit we've been doing, but it's like we this future in front of us is so different than 2 years ago. And I,
Yeah.
I feel
Even
like
a
that's
month ago,
even,
like you're
yeah, even
saying.
a month ago.
No, I agree with you. And that was something that I was thinking about last night in preparation for this conversation today was just like, and what I've been talking to my coach about is like, how do I change my business to not only be more impactful, but evolve with the way that the industry and the world is kind of trending and make a business and a life for myself that is sustainable, that I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, want, I get excited about thinking about the potential for supporting businesses locally.
Yeah.
like you were saying. And I live in San Mateo, California, so a little bit south of San Francisco. But like I was talking about the other day, I'm like, oh, I kind of missed that. I missed the human interaction. And
Yeah.
before this, I was an IT account executive. I cannot
Damn. I didn't know that.
say that. Yeah, for 6 years. And I was in outside sales until the pandemic hit. And so I realized how much I didn't enjoy inside sales. And this online industry is obviously inside sales.
Hmm.
But it's a little bit different. I was selling to 40 and 50-year-old men running
Hmm.
the technology uh, within corporate businesses. And now it's, I'm building relationships with people who and genuinely enjoy, and,
Hmm.
women who are like-minded and all of that. So, yeah, I am actually having a conversation today about like the future and direction of my business. So
Hmm.
I'm right there with you, and I want to be able to expand, and I'm excited about
Me
it.
too. And I actually have an interview lined up, like a podcast one with my coach, Jen, and we're going to be discussing traditional marketing and the
Mhm.
comeback that it's having or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm realizing, we might need to actually start, going back to like paper mail and, business cards and
Yeah.
like dropping off portfolios like physically places like, which again, I think that's the shift. Is I really think that we were so consumed with technology and staying inside even before the pandemic because we
Yeah.
all got lazy as a society. And then when it was given to us the chance to really indulge in that laziness and isolation, we all realized we don't like it. And so I
Yeah.
kind of feel like that's what's happening. And we're seeing it on like a macro scale, like not even just within like our niche. I mean, businesses are doing like pop-up stuff again and these huge
Yeah.
events. And
Mhm.
and so I think I might have solved the puzzle there.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely something that I've been thinking about, and it's like kind of back to your paper mail point, is the fact that just sending handwritten thank you notes to your clients
Yeah.
is huge, and like makes them remember you even more. And thank you notes and physical things are things that people keep.
Oh yeah.
People don't keep an email. They're not going to print out your thank you email and post it on their gratitude board. But like, you know, they're like, hey, thanks for spending $10,000
That
with
is so funny.
me.
Oh my
But
gosh. I'm sorry. I like cannot stop thinking about someone actually printing out and it has like the
I
little
know.
Gmail like watermark or something. It's got the time and the date.
Oh
Okay,
my
that's
gosh, I know.
hilarious.
Well, and I look over at my gratitude board that you and
Mm-hmm.
I talked about,
Yep.
and it's still wrapped in plastic.
Oh,
So
come on. Okay, I have to buy mine still, so it's not a big deal.
I'll
Yeah,
get
no.
there.
I man, I feel like so much better actually just like even talking about this because I was messaging my coach and I'm like, "Listen, dude, like I might need a pause because I'm like I don't know what the hell's going on with anyone right now. Like I'm like the people that like want to buy from me don't have the money, which means I don't have the money to buy from my coach, which means my coach doesn't have and so I'm like
Yes.
everyone's like just in the same situation right now, which is kind of comforting, but then it's also like, I'm excited because I feel like you and I have had some really good conversations about how we can really lead the way, especially with like omni-channel marketing and our plans, with that as
Yeah.
well. And so I think like not to sum up because I'm definitely not done with this episode, but to sum up a few things, it's going to be like educating ourselves beyond what we originally thought was necessary, right?
Yeah.
And reaching out to people locally and just trying to be as innovative as possible.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't want to keep on saying it's something I keep on thinking about,
No,
but
I
I've been, I mean, you, we are on the same wavelength a lot, and it just like makes me feel good because I
Mhm.
love being able to surround myself with people that are like-minded, but also push me in a way. Like,
Mhm.
so that was something that within my 6 years as an account executive for an IT organization was the fact that like I had to help businesses innovate on a daily basis with technology.
Mhm.
And so I'm like, okay, I did that for a long time. And I really enjoy like pushing the boundaries and being
Yeah.
like, hey, this solution is going to create X, Y, and Z outcome and increase your profitability or give you whatever ROI, that they were looking for. And it's like, how do I now implement that in my own business and know like, okay, these things are going to provide the ROI that I need to build a business that I am proud of, but like, how do I continue to stay innovative within my own business on a daily basis, but also like creating, a splash within this industry and kind of changing things up. And I think, like to your point earlier, what we have going on with omni-channel marketing and lead generation and a, creating that maximized profitability for your business by managing and optimizing your lead generation and marketing through the customer journey is like, there's so much there.
Oh, and this is the other thing too, is I have 2 points to make. Number one, something that you said, well, about your business and needing to figure out like all this. It's like your edge is that you have that experience, right? Like your edge is that you've done that for 6 years. And to me, like that only makes me want to work with you more, because it's like, I know that you have like actual experience and you're not like just doing surface level shit, which kind of brings me to my second point, is I feel like because things were so fast paced last year, it kind of made us all really dumb. Like we all just, which I know you weren't like there at that time, but like, it was like, I had all this knowledge on starting an LLC and profit margins and all this shit, but no one gave a fuck. And so then I was like, all right, like, here's 5 things you need to do to start a business. And then it's like, then I feel like an idiot because I'm like, this isn't even close to like my knowledge. And so now it's like, then the third thing to that is, it's like, that's what's going to make the splash, is coming up with all this hard hitting content. But no offense to some people, they're still in that dumbass like mindset where they only want surface level shit. But then Instagram introducing the video, like, that's where they're headed. It's like, how are you supposed to give hard hitting content in a fucking 15-second reel? And so it's like, it's just this whole like, which is why we need omni-channel marketing. So yeah.
And that was something that I struggled with when I first started, was like feeling like I was dumbing myself down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm incredibly smart. And I give myself credit for that. Like, I have experienced a lot within my career and I have a lot to give, and I have a wealth of knowledge to provide to not only myself, but to my clients and my community. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like providing 3 tips on how to clean out your inbox. Like, what? I was like, well, and when I first started too, I had no idea like what my services were.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know that this industry existed until January.
How did you find it, if you don't mind me asking?
TikTok.
Oh,
Jessica Hawks, man.
I don't even know who that is.
She is, she has like, she's an industry leader for sure. She has like 500,000 followers, and she got me here. So, and I know a lot of people also have that story. I just saw her TikTok and I was like, huh, like, so I can create a business that like doing what I want to do. And I was just over corporate life. I had been so burned and felt so burnt out. And especially after the pandemic, I was like, this is not fulfilling.
Did you get laid off because of the pandemic, or did you quit?
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that was super
no. It's fair. No, it's a fair question. I was looking for another job because I was so unhappy and burnt out and depressed, and it was like not good. And so we kind of came to the conclusion at the end of the year that we're like, okay, we need to part ways. And so in January, I was just like, what the heck do I do? I was moving to California.
Oh yeah, from Austin, right?
From Denver.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of personal life stuff that we haven't even gone over. But I've lived in Denver, Austin, Seattle, back to Denver, and now here
All
in
the
California.
big cities,
So
dang.
yeah. But yeah, I just like had no direction. And then when I found this industry, I was like, well, maybe I just like figure this out and hold off on interviews. And I just went all in, and I'm glad I
Yeah.
did. You know, it's just a lot of courage that goes into doing something.
Oh, 100%. Like I got pretty lucky because I got my start doing a lot of like marketing internships. Like, and it was people that I knew. So I got really, really lucky, and I discovered freelancing at a very young age. So I've been self-employed since I was 19 years old. Which was,
that's incredible.
It's incredible, but my doctors are like, you got high blood pressure. I'm like, I wonder why. Like, and so, but I want to talk about that TikTok thing because I don't know what TikTok it was that like drew you in or whatever, but it just like it proves my point at the same time though. It's like people still consume the surface level content, and unfortunately it works. And so what I'm struggling with doing, which is what I'm doing with my omni-channel marketing workshop right now, is you have to identify which platforms can be your main source of like, this is where the funnel almost like starts, right?
Right.
And I think that's TikTok most of the time, because it's like, I guess it could be Instagram Reels though. That's the other thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like maybe video content is where the funnel starts, and or even pin. This is the thing that's so annoying, is like really figuring it out. And I feel like this is where a lot of people, even myself, as I'm saying it out loud, you know, and what are your thoughts?
No, I think that, I mean, it's obvious based on the way that Instagram is moving and the pressure that they feel from TikTok, because
so
like, I mean, they didn't even have Reels, and then TikTok blew up, and they were like, oh shit, we've got to create something that is going to be impactful for our platform and our users. And I feel like if the content is good within that, 7 to 15 seconds, because I don't watch past that, it's too long. Sometimes you'll catch me though, scrolling through TikTok, and I'll watch a whole 3-minute.
Me too. I was just about to say,
how somebody's lip blew up because he got stung by a wasp. I don't know. So, but like if there's like valuable like information in that first 7 to 15 seconds, and it gets me thinking, that's what it is. Like if the content gets me thinking and generates a question from it, like that's where I'm like, okay, so why is this content creating this curiosity for me? And like if back to the surface level bullshit, like if it's like 3 tips for blah, I'm like, okay, well, I'm never going to implement that. So I'm just gonna move on and whatever. And I don't get valuable information out of that kind of stuff. It's more of the, stuff that piques my curiosity.
I think I might have just also come up with a strategy for that. It's not that it's a singular platform that's your starting point with the funnel. It's certain pieces of content that you integrate into it, right? So like if you post 5 times a week on TikTok or on Instagram, maybe 1 or 2 days of those are generic promo, like, hey, like this is really simple and it grabs people's attention. Then the rest of your content can be really niche. I think that actually might be smart. And same with Pinterest, you could do the same exact thing. Right. So maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, because they're incorporating video pins now. And
I actually like them on Pinterest. I'll admit, like Instagram is just like, I feel like just not hitting right with that at all. Like,
and I was talking to my sister the other day. So she is a product business owner out of Austin. And she and I were like, Instagram is just the recycled crap.
It is
TikTok. And there's so much innovation, like back to the innovation piece on TikTok that I do not see on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And the funny thing is that the innovation that like, I guess it's not even innovation, but like I get more energized by watching like influencers change clothes than I do like watching a top 3 tips, 5 tips. just because like it's entertaining. I'm like,
It
oh,
is
look
like,
at all those outfits. Like gives me ideas, you know? And I think, I mean,
mhm,
to the point of like piquing curiosity, like I enjoy fashion and
mhm.
like putting things together. So I'm like, oh, I might want to try that or something like that. It's
Yeah. No, you're definitely right. I think like I've made this point before. TikTok is very much creative. I feel
yeah,
like even myself, I'm not a creative person. I've always been very like analytical, way too serious sometimes. So I feel like I had a hard time tapping into that. Like I'm always the strategy,
yeah,
but TikTok has allowed me to become way more creative. I feel like the problem with reels, and I've said this, is everyone's just so fucking boring.
yeah.
Like I don't
I
my most popular reel is has almost 700,000 views, and it's just me. It was like an over exaggerated statistic that I came up with about my
yeah,
business. It was so stupid.
yeah. I feel the same way. And so like when I try to, because I mean, I have not tapped into TikTok either because I honestly am intimidated by it.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the creativity piece, I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
am I going to be creative enough or whatever? And it goes back to the whole omni-channel marketing because
Mm-hmm.
like you need to have yourself on different platforms because your audiences are going to be a little bit different based on where you're at.
Exactly.
And you're catering to a different audience. And so it's like getting over the fear of
Yeah.
just like that pressure to be creative and just starting it like you did it. And
I've grown two accounts. I have my store one has almost 7,000 followers. For my clothing store, my CBD business, I don't even want to talk about it. Like that's just been so depressing.
we'll get you
Uh,
there.
yeah, I'm excited. That's going to definitely require a lot of local marketing for sure. But then my coaching account's almost at 3,400 or something, and
Yeah,
honestly, like my coaching one, I don't give a shit. I just post what I know, and
right.
it generates. But as I'm sitting here thinking, maybe for you, so this is another sidebar about TikTok is I don't want to use the word pretty privilege because that's not necessarily like what I'm trying to say, but there definitely is a like formula. Like if
Yes.
you're a cute and clean looking woman, well actually men actually very similar, the same thing.
Yeah,
Your
agreed.
videos tend to do really well. And so
Yeah,
it's like if you have the aesthetic, which I know you do because you've portrayed it on your Instagram, it's like it sounds shitty, but aesthetics or whatever they sell.
yeah,
And
they do.
it gives you the advantage. So
Yeah. And I think too, like really quickly to touch on the like reels being boring piece
mm-hmm,
is so when I am trying to create reels and more so problem awareness content for my Instagram is like I don't even scroll through what's trending on my business page.
yeah,
I
no.
scroll what's through trend that's trending on my personal page and then take ideas from there that are
Mm-hmm,
not oversaturated and implement them into my Instagram
mm-hmm,
through a business perspective. Just because like I see the same shit over and over and over. And then
mm-hmm.
even sometimes like I'm like, oh, that's a really good sound. And then I'll hear it the next day. I'm like, damn it, I should
Yep.
have posted it, because it's
Yep.
like it starts to get oversaturated. And then you're like, okay, well, I don't want to post that anymore, but I already recorded it. So what do I do? And that's what I think like why Instagram from like definitely within this industry, like the reels are boring because that's the cycle.
It
And
takes 2 weeks essentially for something from TikTok to get to Instagram.
yeah. And my sister is incredibly good at TikTok. Like she
Mm-hmm,
keeps up with the trends
mm-hmm.
and all of that. And that's how her business blew up was TikTok.
Same.
It had almost 1 million views on one TikTok post.
Yeah, that's where at my clothing store, I got my first video ever went completely viral, almost 1 million
Crazy.
views. I got like I didn't get here's the thing though, and I'm not even gonna like go deeper into this because it's so not relevant, but I didn't get as many orders though because I did not do enough research into like the products I was selling and they were all out of style because I had that inventory for over a year. So it was
Yeah.
like if I had the right products at the time, I would be probably sitting on like 6 figures right now from that
Yeah.
fucking business. But
Well, and that's what, like, to your point about, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
my clothing being out of style, trending,
We were just talking about
doing
it.
your research, educating yourself.
I'm having a brain fart.
I was really excited too.
I know. Maybe it'll come back
It
to
will,
me.
it will.
But yeah, I mean, I think like, I mean, just back to how this industry is changing, like we've got to be quick on our feet
Oh
and
yeah.
be able to like come up with new ideas on a daily basis, because like people are smart,
Oh,
and
I
the
know.
industry is way smarter than it was even, 6 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Buyers are incredibly smart in the way that they buy. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just like being able to create a strategy that is like beneficial for your client, but you as well. Like
Yep.
that's kind of where gotta figure out okay, it was something about formula.
Like strategy
Oh,
for
well, kind of like to your point about, sorry. Okay,
no,
so
no, no. I'm
where
glad
my
you
brain goes sometimes, like it's like that block game or
Mhm.
whatever. But so like how you were saying how your business could have blown up
Yeah.
on TikTok if you would have had the right, research in place and use the right strategies. Like you have to have a formula when you're posting
Oh
anything
yeah.
and creating any type of marketing, right? Because like you've got to know what's going to hit.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I mean, we're gonna flop all the time, but like getting better at it is like the only thing that we can do. And I think that's like what we're doing through omni-channel marketing
I
and lead
agree.
generation and customer journey.
I agree. And I think quality over quantity is going to
Mhm.
be another thing. Like I don't want to use the word science because I don't really think that that's the right term, but I just feel like everything going forward has to be intentional, innovative, and like research based. Like it's going to
Yes.
require, like I have to now look at fashion trends. Like once I can sell everything that I had, I'm actually going to have to like do research on what's trending, not just what I like, but what
Right.
people are actually buying. And then even for omni-channel marketing, I'm about to do market research with 35 different people in the next 2 weeks because I'm like, I need to know what the fuck is going on, and that's the other thing is I keep saying that that's the other thing. I'm on a laundry list of other things that are now gonna, it's just gonna require more effort. At the end of the day, it's just gonna be more effort and less instant gratification. But I think the people
Yeah.
that can hold out and implement and just really, really put the work in now will make it through. I keep saying, I'd say 60% of the people will fall off before 2022.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I think like the whole instant gratification thing goes back to what I was talking about earlier about what my thoughts are on this industry is like a lot of people think it is instant gratification, and that is not
Mm-hmm.
the case. For some people it is. And like kudos to them,
Yeah. I hate
But
those
like
people. No, I'm
it's,
just kidding.
like it's not real life.
It's
And
not.
like it takes a lot of hard work. And I mean, but kudos to you because you're running 3 businesses and you're
Oh,
figuring it out. It's
thank
like
you.
I'm so incredibly proud of you. And I'm like, she's gonna fucking crush it. Like you are crushing it. So it's
Thank
just
you.
like getting to the point where also just trusting yourself. It's like fuck
Yes.
everybody else and trust yourself and your knowledge and your intentions and your ability to do the damn thing,
So true. I think and mindset is important as well. I think
Yeah.
like, a year ago I was not in the right headspace. Even last month, like I said,
Yeah.
that was the worst month I've experienced in a long, long time. And so
Yeah.
I think it is like what you just said. And I think if people can just put the work in and really just like being like their own person and being unique, it'll take a lot of people, down a very successful path. So I guess like I'll ask one more question to circle back to lead generation. Now that we've had this conversation about where we think things are headed and strategies, if you could give like one piece of advice to whoever's listening in regards to lead generation to help them with their business in these new and changing times, like what could you say?
That's a good question.
I know I hit you with that one.
I know, and I mean, because it's a powerful one, and it's like, what's one thing? Honestly, one thing that I would say is just like, stay true to who you are and don't go into lead generation like with with a facade. I don't think that's,
No, I know what you're saying. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
don't be
Like,
like a weirdo about it. Just be
yeah,
like,
just
be
like,
real.
yeah, and like stop looking at it as a chore and something like as a tick the box activity, because the realness behind it is the fact that you have the ability to build relationships, and that's what it's for, is creating connections, finding friendships like this, and like really being able to hit it off with people who you enjoy talking to. And don't put pressure on yourself to feel like you have to talk to people you don't connect with. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't find that common ground and that connection, like,
Unfollow their ass.
yeah, just don't even worry about it. Like, you're not going to enjoy working with them and they're not going to enjoy working with you. And so it's just like being able to take the pressure off of lead generation and having fun with it. And it sounds so like cliche, but like seriously, that is, I think, where people get so stuck with lead generation, is the fact that like it stresses them out. And they're like, oh my God, I don't have enough leads, blah, blah, blah. But like being able to optimize your customer journey is going to just help you with lead generation, because you've got a plan in place for your leads, you're building those connections, and you're able to maximize not only your profit through having that customer journey, but the impact and that you're able to make with your clients. And like that's the most important thing, I think.
I agree.
And so like, and stop thinking about it like from your perspective, like how would your leads, networking people,
Yeah.
how would they feel? Or I guess put
Yourself in their shoes.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I do that
And
all the
like,
time.
and like, how would they feel? How would you feel if you commented something stupid like, oh my God, love this, with a heart, and that's it? I hate that.
Me too.
So anyway, I think I just like said multiple things.
No, I think that
It's
was
more like about humanizing the process and having fun with it, and just really going into lead generation and engagement with the understanding that like it's a relationship building activity. That's what it's for. And it's not for you to be cold.
Yep. Or to, be robotic about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And because that's not going to help you build a sustainable business, and it's not going to help you grow. And like, it also, I mean, that's your brand
Yep.
too.
People will
The way
remember
that you
you.
speak to people and the way that you interact is part of your brand. And so keeping that in mind too. But
So
yeah.
true. Well, I think this was an amazing first guest episode, and I would love to have you on again to talk about even like the client experience and stuff
Yeah.
like that. There's a wide variety of things I think that you'd be the perfect fit for, to be on the podcast for. I don't, that was so grammatically incorrect. Just ignore that. But anyways, so I just want to say thank you so much for
Thank
today's
you.
episode. I am so excited. I feel like this was also like a brainstorming episode.
Yes.
I'm so stoked. I think that everyone has a lot of good information to walk away with. And so, do you have anything you want to promote, or anything you want people to be interested in that you're offering, anything like that?
I have 2 spots available for my lead generation, engagement, and client experience package for the month of July or August start dates. So that's exciting.
Okay.
And the fact that you and I are going to be promoting a masterclass in August to be a part 2 of your workshop that you're doing now for omnichannel marketing, and how you can really like manage and maximize all of those leads that you're bringing in from your, different platforms into like strategic lead generation and client experience ordeal. So.
Yep. So stay tuned. Pretty much omni-channel marketing part 2 with a lead generation focus, and how to manage those new leads that you get from omni-channel marketing. I will have everything linked for you, so that people can go follow and do all that, in the show notes or whatever we call this thing. But anyways, so if you guys like this episode, let me know, and connect with us on Instagram. Let's keep the conversation going, and I will see you all in the next episode. So,
Thanks, Lexi.
all right. Yep.